All right, hello, good evening, good afternoon for those of you on the West Coast. Good morning for those of you in Hawaii. Uh, Dankashe for those of you in my Western European audience, and for those of you who love Wayne Newton. I share a lot of the same audience that Wayne Newton does. Speaking of Vegas, of course, we're just fresh off the. Are you Super Bowled out? Are you just tired of hearing? Are you tired of being inundated with everything super? Well, you're in luck because that's what this show is about. Everything super. You know me, and none of it's going to be pleasant. So buckle up. The Steve Squared Show is anything but super tonight. We got a lot to talk about. I'm your host, Funny Man Stevie K, coming to you remote from an undisclosed location. And let me start off the show by saying you might have noticed something over my left shoulder, right shoulder, for those of you playing at home. There is a balloon wafting from an imaginary crosswind in this room, turning the balloon. But if you can see right now, it says, "Happy birthday, Mom." Today, February 12th, is not only Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Forget Lincoln. All right? I'm sick of hearing about Lincoln. It's enough already about this guy. He gets all the attention. It's enough, right? Everybody gets off from school next week. It's just enough. We know. Today is my mom's birthday. And let me tell you, and this is the great thing about my mom. I try to do something nice. I put a balloon. I'm excited. She reaches out to me as she logs on to the show, as she always does. My mom is one of the Steve Squared Show's biggest watchers, biggest listeners. And I'm excited because she's going to say to me, "Oh, that's fantastic. I see the balloon." What do you think she says? "The balloon's not straight." I can't read that balloon. It's not straight. In your face, sucker! Anyway, but I made a deal, a promise, an agreement, a contract, if you will. I cannot get in a fight, an argument, a squabble. I cannot yell. I cannot curse for 24 hours, at least in the presence of my mom, which is going to be a really hard... No! In your face, sucker! If I make it through, this is what you're going to hear at midnight tonight. Because this is tough. This is bigger than any gift I could give my mom, is the gift of kindness. For me to be... I'm joking, come on. I'm in the Hall of Fame of sons. Let me tell you this. Let me brag. Let me be a little braggadocious. But yes, I have my angry side, my ranting side. You all have been exposed to it. I always expose myself. No. Anyway, so getting back to, and here's what, you got to be careful what you wish for, speaking of birthdays, and it's also Valentine's Day this week. For those of you not keeping track of the Agrarian Aztec calendar, yes, Valentine's Day, don't get confused with leap year and Groundhog's Day, and, because of course, let me see what happened here. There is, let me see what I got for you. Because this I was very excited to show. Yes, here it is. I said this a little bit on the show last week, but let me get more deep into it. Punxsutawney Phil, as you well know, that rabid rat that they have up in Pennsylvania. As you can see, these moronic people with weird hats are listening to this insane squirrel try to see if it's actually talking or seeing its shadow. And this is the most exciting thing going on in rural PA. I can tell you that, other than cow tipping and Amish country. So it says no shadow of doubt for Long Island groundhogs, which means that the groundhog, for some reason they know this, didn't see its shadow, which means an early spring. I'm feeling pretty cocky. So I've been in this, like, feeling pretty good. I've been getting my runs in. Usually February is not good run month, so I'll do indoor cardio. But the weather's been cooperative. I've been out there. I'm like, February, this is fantastic. I'm even playing with fate, saying we're getting no snow. Last year we had a record low snowfall. I didn't have to shovel once. Then I'm talking this year to my friend. I'm like, January, nothing. December, nothing. I'm like, we're rolling. And then boom, tomorrow morning's supposed to be snow.
No. In your face, sucker.
It's in my face. Sucker. Exactly. That was exactly for me. Because I tempted fate, which I never do, but I did, and now we're supposed to get some bad weather, so I have my 2 reasons I'm wearing a wool cap. I want to get ready, hopefully, for not bad weather. Maybe it'll just rain. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But I'm also trying to get some, energy going for the Knicks. They lost a couple in a row. They've been playing so great, but they've been riddled with injuries. But I'm trying to get some Knick feel going on, so I'm trying to, meditate my energy, my chakra, if you will. I'm trying to get those good vibes into Houston, where the New York Knicks tonight will play the Houston Rockets at 8 o'clock. So after my show, this is perfect timing. You tell me I don't do anything for you people. I timed the New York Knicks game. I had them play. They were supposed to play earlier, but I said the Steve Squared show's from 6:30, as you know, to 7:30. So the Knicks so gracefully said, "Don't worry, don't change the time of your show. We will change the time of the Knicks game." And I thanked them, and so they will be at 8 o'clock tonight. Okay. Anyway, let me get off on another rant. This is a local rant for those of you in the local area. Again, let me show you what kind of son I am. I called my mom. I said, let's go. I'm going to take you to breakfast. I'm not a breakfast guy. If you know me, I work out. I have a protein shake. I'm good for the day. Some people are morning eaters. It's just not me. But it's not about that. It's just, doing a nice. I was like, let's go. We'll go to breakfast at your favorite place. My mom loves this place, which any Massapequan knows, if you could still say Massapequan. Krish's. It's a local jaunt. Frequented. It's got all the pictures of the celebrities, the Seinfelds, and the rest of the idiots, the Stray Cats, Brian Setzer, and such. Probably a picture of Amy Fisher up there. All of the great Massapequa Hall of Famers. So, we're going to go to Krish's. Okay. So, we get there, we park, we get up to the door, and it's locked. And I look at the hours, and they don't open till noon. Noon. Now, let me explain Krish's. This is a luncheonette famous for its breakfast food. It's not a late night place. No, there's no activity over there. So what are they doing? I had said this to people long ago. A few years ago, Krish's used to make homemade chocolates. They used to be a real staple of the community. Everybody would go there for Valentine's Day, buy the great homemade chocolates. They would go there at Christmas, Easter. You wouldn't get your bunny anywhere else. You didn't go to CVS and get Balmer chocolate. What? It's like eating cardboard. You'd go to Krish's. You'd get your confectionery sugar chocolate. Oh boy, no more, my friends. Then not only this, but as we're walking away, the door opens, and I guess one of their friends was in there while they were closed, or maybe he was a part owner. Who knows who he was? But this maniac comes out with this giant lion, I guess, imitating a dog. It looked like it was a cougar, and it's on a leash, and he's screaming at it on the top of his lungs, and of course this numbnuts gets into one of those Ram trucks that takes up the block, and, with his crazy dog. What was going on in there? The place was closed, and lets this giant animal in the store. Just 2 thumbs down. Boo. Hold on. Free Krish's. Anyway. Hello to Kermit. It's still hanging tough. The leaves it's getting a little thin, but we're hanging tough. I just watered Kermit. We're in a crisis mode here with Kermit. But Kermit survived a lot tougher times and will come through this winter okay. I assure you. Anyway, so, I was so excited. I love when I'm right. I love when I'm right, boy. And look at the front page, the rising cost of driving, and it shows pothole after pothole. Crumbling roads, traffic, and safety issues hit average New York drivers for an extra $3,697, up 16% from 2021. This is an average, almost over $3,500 in car repairs and damage to automobiles. These roads are terrible. Just terrible. What are we living in? A fifth world country, for God's sake? Were we bombed that I didn't know about? Did an asteroid hit Broadway in Massapequa that I'm unaware of? I would have been aware of this. I mean, I guess, I know, it's all about the Super Bowl, which we're going to get to. We actually should have a call-in guest to speak on the Super Bowl. But before we do that, this is the problem, and I'm going to bring this up next week in the studio. Joe Rogan, everybody's favorite podcast show host. You know Joe Rogan. I liked Joe Rogan years ago when he did news radio, and he was an comedian, actor. Now he's a little pompous, and but his podcast is okay. He really is not one-sided or the other. He has people from all over, and he's sometimes you're like, oh, we lean, but he's had some crazy thoughts and opinions, but all in all, he's kind of, he says it like it is, and he's not so whatever. I'll leave it at that. Vague. This is how I am. I'm the king of vague. I don't commit to anything. I'm non-committal vague. That might be my new name of my podcast show. Once I fire Steve, non-committal vague. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed last week's show. If not, check it out. We had Brian Donahue on as a guest last week in the studio, and we got a lot of good feedback. The show went very well. We might have more. I think we should have more guests in the studio. I'm going to line you up some more guests. That was really fun. But look at this. Podcast show host Rogan signs a $250 million deal. You got to be kidding me. With Apple Podcasts. Oh my God. No, I'm sorry. What am I talking about? With Spotify. He's with Spotify. I didn't even know Spotify had that kind of money and to waste. Oh my God. You got to be kidding me. $250 million. He could have bought 4 commercials last night on the Super Bowl with that. Only 30-second spots. The commercials last night on the Super Bowl averaged they were $7 million for 30 seconds. Now, but you get 20% off if you have a CVS coupon. If you put it to your card, I think you get 20% off. So, that's why you should never throw away your CVS coupons. You never know when you're going to buy a $7 million commercial and then you need 20% off. So, anyway, $250 million. What am I getting? I got to talk this over with Tony. I'm saving this. Me and Tony are going to have it out. We're going to talk about this. So, yes, what a game. Super Bowl, football, and here's what comes out of it when you're all said and done. Do I even need to show you what the headlines, front page, back page, side page, overtime game, unbelievable. There you go. There you go. This is all I have to say. I'm sick of it. Maybe I'm the only one on the planet who has the cojones enough to say it because we should know, my God. And I hate these, news people that have to fawn all over. Everybody's got to fawn. Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, is in her box. Shaking. Of course he is. Cha-ching. He is like her cat. Do we have a cha-ching? That's not a cha-ching. Every time they do a shot, or every time there's a play going on, they do a shot away. right to the booth. It's so exhausting, this nonsense that they're perpetrating on all of us, that I have to watch this during the football game, that I have to watch Taylor Swift and her little group of cronies jumping all over each other like they actually know what's going on, and they're not. It's this produced thing in this box for them to all. They obviously know when the shot's going to be. Right? These are performers. They don't not know. They try to. They're doing such a bad job of trying to be like, oh my God, am I on camera? Yes, you obviously know you're on camera. You've been on camera enough that you know when the shot's going to happen. And do you think she's going to get not going to be okaying these shots? So it's not going to be a shot where she's doing shots of tequila. It's going to be these promotional shots. It's promotional for her and for the NFL. But people think they're real or somehow genuine. But that's okay, because you're a believer. Speaking of believers, the halftime show yesterday didn't get a lot of love. Usher didn't get a lot of love. There was some feedback today that the Ushman was having some sound problems, some technical difficulties, if you will. I don't know what was going on, but the music was not what we call homologous. It wasn't homogenizing well with it wasn't blending well. There was no harmonious, smooth blend that we're used to hearing with music and lyrics. So it was over. You couldn't hear. It was the mic he was using was too overpowering. And the audio was off. So he was really singing. It's not that he was lip singing, which probably would have been better, because then the track would have been together and they wouldn't have had to worry. That's why you shouldn't try to be too good. And they said, he also, he's a great dancer, great performer. It didn't really matter, but technically, I'm sure he's probably a little annoyed. He probably, wants. He's performing, he wants to put on a clean show. And then, let's face it, everybody, it must be so awkward because he's coming there. He's getting ready for this giant performance. He's Usher. He had Alicia Keys come on. He had some other people come on. And everybody's like, oh, is Taylor Swift going to perform? I mean, what? If I never heard those two words again, it won't be soon enough. I'm sick of it. If you say it on this show right now, I'm shutting the show right down. At 6:47, I'm shutting the show. I don't care. I don't care what it is. I'll get ready for the Knick game early. I'm all right. I do this for you, not for me. So annoying that they had to do these cutaways to what's her face every minute. And I'll tell you, Mahomes is like Curry. He's this annoying. He just annoys me. I mean, I'm happy my dad wanted Kansas City to win. My dad knows football. He predicted Kansas City was going to win. They won. I was happy for that, for my dad. But because he likes Mahomes. But for me, it's like Curry. They annoy me. They're like, enough of them already. They get all the love, all the this, all of that. No. This is Brunson Knicks time. I'm glad football's over so the world can focus on the New York Knicks. They got to get back, and tonight they're going to start it. They're playing the Houston Rockets. And like I said, let's get it back. Let's get it back, boys. Look at this. This is more coverage of this nonsense people. Like her, of this. Come on. Oh, it's so terrible. It's just so terrible. So annoyed. Hey, you a Jon Stewart fan? I know you are. Jon Stewart will be back tonight after 9 years. That's a vacation I need. I need a 9-year vacation from life and from work, especially, and everything. That's the vacation to take. So 9 years ago, Jon Stewart stepped away from the Daily Show on Comedy Central. And unfortunately, they did not they probably didn't get my audition reel for the show, but they went with Trevor Noah. It's fine. It's great. I can deal with that. I never got called. But anyway, Now, just on Mondays, Jon Stewart's coming back. On Mondays only. And obviously he's doing it. It's election year, so he wants to, get his little rants in. So I'm curious to see tonight at 11. So my lineup is set. Nick Game, Jon Stewart, boom. That's a good night right there. You look at this lineup. You got the Steve Squared Show from 6:30 to 7:30. You got a half-hour break. Get yourself a snack. Go to the bathroom. Maybe stretch a little bit. Maybe you get 10 minutes of heavy, nice deep breathing, meditation. You go into the Nick Game. You watch the Nick Game. That's going to end 8 o'clock. Should end about 10:30. Boom. You get another half hour. Maybe go have a little snack. Get ready. Revive yourself. 11 o'clock. Go right to Comedy Central. You watch the Jon Stewart Hour. Do I have to do everything for you guys? I set up your schedule. I tell you where to go. You're lucky you have me. Nobody understands how lucky they are. They just don't.
Damn!
Steve would think otherwise. I think that balloon's almost straight. Do you? I don't know. I feel like there's some kind of thing turning that balloon around. It's like on that. What was that show? That movie? Not The Conjuring. It was that other thriller where things are moving in the house. I don't know. Anyway, I do want to talk. We're going to hold off. I definitely want to talk a little Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, who passed away. I love Carl Weathers, great actor. Let's just finish off on the Super Bowl talk with the commercials. Did you see any of the commercials? Now, there were a bunch of... Did you know there was almost 60 commercials during the Super Bowl? I didn't even know. Now, like I said, how much was it? Help me out here. $7 million for 30 seconds. That's outrageous. You talk about inflation. Anyway, and these people have money to burn. So Dunkin' Donuts does a little Dunkings, little hip-hop rap, and it's supposed to be like, Jennifer Lopez is the judge of, like, this stupid thing, and they're auditioning, and it's Ben Affleck, her boyfriend, or are they married, or whatever they are, for the fourth time. And then he's got, whatever, Matt Damon's there with him, and it's, it's all corny, and it's just silly, he's auditioning for her, So this is like kind of the new like extra thing. They have to make guys look like morons. So, okay, which is, you don't really have to try hard. Anyway, so it was this kind of like 80s hip-hop thing, and she was judging, and he was trying to get on her new album or whatever. Terrible. There was another one, Talking Like Walking. That was a little humorous. It was with Christopher Walken, and he's got that way of talking. I've been trying to get into my head, and I just, man, you need more cowbell, because I'm telling you, you're gonna want more cowbell on that. That's his classic Saturday Night Live. That's my Christopher Walken. What? He's always got that way of talking. So they had a commercial of everybody who was helping him that he came in contact with during the day. And, a valet, a gas station attendant, everybody was talking like Walken. And it was, I don't know, you don't even know what these commercials are for. Talk about wasting money. It's not even like you were like, oh, I think that was BMW. It was BMW. See, I did remember. T-Mobile with Donald Faison and Mimoso? Whatever that idiot Aquaman. Horrible. With Johnny Depp's ex-girlfriend, Aquafina, whatever her name is. No, it's not Aquafina. The other one that was heard. I think her name, whatever. So Jason Momoa and Donald Faison and the T-Mobile commercial. It was supposed to be a take on What a Feeling, and it was with T-Mobile words. We get it. Haha. It was cute. It was alright. Whatever. Judge Judy had a commercial, of course. Everybody loves. Who doesn't love Judge Judy?
No.
My dad and my mom is a big Judge Judy fan. So she's not going to like this take, but she did a thing called Judge Beauty, and it was a court case with makeup, and she was awful. She's known for her nastiness. That's the only thing I like about her. And the commercial, she was terrible. Just shows not everybody can act, and she couldn't even act herself. That was the point. It's terrible. Any others that were worth? Tina Fey doing like everybody was Tina Fey. Glenn Close was in it. It was just Booking.com. It was just terrible. I liked the Arnold Schwarzenegger one by State Farm. I thought that was cute. They played on him and the way he talks, because he was, State Farm is like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. So he was like, I'm telling you, like a good neighbor. Like a good neighbor. And the script guy kept going, cut. It's Arnold, it's neighbor. And he's like, that's what I said, neighbor. And it was going back and forth. So it was kind of, and then he was in different scenes and he kept saying, neighbor. And then he was like in an action scene with a woman that was pretty, he's like, she's in labor. And, so it was obviously this kind of silliness. But they put him in all these action scenes and he kept saying whatever ER word, like the way he speaks. And so at the end, he's in the movie theater and he's going to say the final, take their catchphrase line, like a good, and Danny DeVito, all of a sudden there pans in on Danny DeVito sitting next to him and he goes, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and he cuts him off. And it's pretty funny because, it's nice to see Danny and Arnold together again. So that was, you like a little boy, I pick him up, we do a movie called Twins. So that was pretty good. That was really the only one I thought was really at least like a little bit something. And it was State Farm, so I remember what it was about. And that was that. So I think we're probably going to get a call. Might get a call in. I think we're getting a call in around 7. So before I'll do this quick because I'll hold off on the call other stuff until we get a call in. Self-checkout woes. So I'm sure are you a self-checkout person, or are you like to go to somebody to have them check you out? I like to self-check myself out. I try to have as little interaction with human beings as possible because I don't have patience. So the self-checkout, but then, and it's such a waste of a position. You have 3 self-checkouts, and there's a host behind you, or whatever they are, going, do you need help? Would you like a bet? Like, just nothing. They're just standing there. So it's just useless. So you think you're saving on cashiers, but you have somebody standing there doing nothing. And they never work. There's always a problem, and it's always blinking, especially at stupid CVS. But it's saying that now theft has gone up and things like that, because you could just check out and walk out and nobody knows what the hell's going on. So I don't know. I like to self-check out. But then there's things, if you're buying something that you need to be, it's age proof, like if I'm buying, say you're buying medicine, it'll ding and then it says, because, you don't want kids getting high on Robitussin, which is a big problem facing America today. Kids getting high on Robitussin. If we could just cure that problem, I think we'll be okay in the world. It's a Robitussin issue. I know. It's addicting. You and your friends, you go into the woods. Who wants a little Robitussin, eh? I got the DMX one. DMX extra congestive cough. I've been there. I've gone through detox of Robitussin. Better than that, I was hooked high as a kid on Dimetap. Loved it. Couldn't get enough. I would fake being sick just so I can get a little Dimetap. Oh, grape Dimetap. Nothing like it. That calls for a 7 o'clock drink. Brought to you by Celsius. Now, I was speaking on Celsius. They are huge. Enormous Celsius. They are big right now. They are not just in a fridge in a 7-Eleven or a CVS or a grocer item. They are their own display case. They are pictured on the front window of stores. Why? The Steve Squared Show, that's why. I'm so mad.
In your face, sucker!
Do I get any free cases of Celsius? A thank you email? They have no idea. They're like, I wonder why we're selling them like hotcakes. Funny Man Stevie K is why. I've been drinking this mess, this dreck, on the Steve Squared Show for years now, telling everybody, putting my good name on Celsius, and now you're reaping the rewards, and I'm left out in the proverbial cold, as it will. It's just I feel like I get taken advantage of so much. It's just wrong. I can't tell you how many people I've hooked on to this energy drink. You can't come off it now. I've gotten so many people addicted to this drink. I'm way better than whatever Biggie Smalls did back in his day, up in Brooklyn there. On the street corners of BK. A biggie and then my big and then my Biggie Smalls. Biggie, can't you see? Anyway. So, I'm really loving this book. I have to show. I'm deep into the... Not deep into it. It's hard. I read like one page a day. But the Being Henry book is really good. It's a good book. It's definitely a good book. It's a good read. And I'm at the part now. Whoa, we got a little brightness now. Let me tone that down a little bit for you. I'm at the part now where he's, and this is, well, here's the Fonz. There's young Fonz, and there's old Fonzie. Not old, but older Fonzie. And it's so funny because, as we all know, Henry Winkler now, and he's in Barry, and the goofy kind of parts he plays in some Adam Sandler movies and things like that. And he's and in Scream, and he's always this nebbishy, nerdy, comically funny character. Everything anti the Fonz. Not anti-Fonz, but opposite. I shouldn't say anti. It sounds wrong. The light just got a little... There we go. And now I'm going to bring it down a bit. See, this is what they needed to do in the Super Bowl when it got a little too... That's a little better. During the Super Bowl. Need somebody doing sound and lighting. They didn't do that. So anyway, he's such a different character, but he was a Yale dramatic school, theatrical studied actor, and he loved theater and things like that, and went out to the coast, and his first gig was his first part, and if you have ever watch his first TV role. Well, he did Lords of Flatbush, which was an independent movie, obviously with Sylvester Stallone, and it became a cult kind of movie. But in the Hollywood scene, when he went out to the coast and was trying to get into TV, movies, whatever, he's out there a week and he gets an audition for a role on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, which was obviously a huge show. And if you remember, I didn't even remember this, and it was one of my favorite episodes. It's the Mary Tyler Moore invites a congresswoman over, and she's having a dinner party. And she's only got enough food of this special kind of dish for 6 people. And her friend Rhoda, who we love, Rhoda Morgenstern, we love her, she brings a guest because she felt bad for him because he had just gotten fired. And so Mary Tyler Moore was like, we only have 6 chairs, there's not enough room. So they set up a little table on the side, or like the little kids table, and playing this role was Henry Winkler. It was a very small part, but he did it so funny. And if you YouTube it, it's hysterical. A week later, from kind of that, he gets an audition for Happy Days. And the rest is history. And so he goes out to the coast, and basically within 2 weeks, he's, within a month, he's shooting Happy Days pilots. And then he's Fonzie. And the rest is history. But, so I don't even have to read the rest of the book. I need something I need to be a Fonzie or to be a something. I told you this, I had a Fonzie pinball machine when I was a kid. And Henry Winkler's such a nice guy. I mean, when you see him in interviews, he's just so not Holly. He's so, just loves being in the scene, just performing and people and things like that. He was so close with he talked so well of the cast and how close he was with Ron Howard, who was 10 years his younger. When they started Happy Days, Henry Winkler was 28. Ron Howard was 18. But obviously we know had a longer resume than all of them because he had done movies and Opie and stuff like that. Anyway, we got to get into. Well, let's get into a little bit of. I wanted to talk a little Carl Weathers. He's such. He was a football player, a professional football player. He did stunt work, and he was really. He did some of these kind of exploitation-y, those silly movie type of things in the 70s. But he finally gets this break role. And they were supposed to use a different actor. They were going to use an actual fighter. It was going to be Ken Norton. Ken Norton was this fighter in the 70s who had some popularity, fought Muhammad Ali a bunch of times. So they were going to use him in this role of Apollo Creed. Who knows if Rocky would even have been Rocky, if Sylvester Stallone would have been Stallone. I don't think the movie works. Obviously, Ken Norton wasn't an actor. It just wouldn't have... It might not have amounted to anything. Apollo is half of this movie. Oh, I shouldn't say half. I really feel like it's not... This movie was a real ensemble movie that you loved all these... Like, you had the right Paulie in Burt Young. You had the right Adrian, right? In Talia Shire. You had the right Mick in Burgess Meredith. You had the right Apollo Creed and Carl Weathers. Nobody could deliver that braggadocio performance of what, that kind of fighter is. The one that's just kind of rises up. He's got a lot of machismo, a lot of, attitude and strong and comical. He had a great comic timing to him. It was just so good. And obviously he does 1 through 4. I was upset that they killed him in 4 by the Russian. That was a terrible way to go. And I wanted to play a clip, but I'm not allowed to, because it's a YouTube clip. Happy Gilmore when he's the one-handed in Adam Sandler's golf movie. He's his golf pro to teach him. He was great, funny in that. Obviously, he was in The Mandalorian just so recently. He was in Arrested Development for a couple of ones. And he was in, oh my gosh, with I think it was, which movie was it? I want to say, let me see if I can see, when they were doing Predator. If you remember Predator, it was so good. It was such a great movie. Jesse the Body Ventura, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers. It was just such a really good movie, and even for just this action silly movie, and it was really good. And everybody remembers the handshake with Arnold and Carl Weathers. So he's had a really nice body of work, and he's definitely going to be completely missed. We definitely... Hold on a second. Definitely going to be completely missed for that. So, but... so I think... But if you look at the... So, I think it was TikTok or a little... Might have been on Instagram, I think it was Instagram, a little quick... minute video that Sly put out there, Sylvester Stallone, a little tribute. He was really, he talks about how much he owes to Apollo Creed and for how big the Rocky franchise became in large part to him too. So I thought that was nice. Hey, little heads up here. Good I saved this. My nephew's going on a trip to Iceland, and they're still having this volcano problem. The volcano erupts again in Iceland. I gotta let my nephew know this. This is a problem here. This is no bueno. He's gotta know when they go. It says lava crosses the main road to Grindavik, Iceland, and flows on the road leading to the Blue Lagoon. On the spa, that's a big famous place. I had clients that were trying to go there a couple of months ago. They went back in November, and the Blue Lagoon was closed. Obviously, it still was. Wow. So it says here, it's a whole, I mean, how often do we talk about Iceland in the local paper? And it's a whole article. Look at this thing. It's unbelievable. I gotta tell my nephew, be careful. Gotta be careful. We don't know what's going on here. But you definitely want to be careful. See what else we could talk about. Oh, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The nominees came in. Let's talk a little Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and a little music. Well, let's get a little music going on here. Talk a little music, little stuff like that. Let me put this over here. Let me get my musical notes out. Are you guys Jon Stewart fans? It's going to be a good show tonight. I think it's going to be a good show. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees came out for 2024. And Long Island's own Mariah Carey is on the list. Is she on the list? She is on the list. Along with Mary J. Blige. Cher. Cher's not in. It's odd. Lenny Kravitz. Sinead O'Connor. Boy, that song really carried a long way for Sinead O'Connor. Nothing compares to... and some other people. Sade. Oasis. Oasis? Are you kidding me? In the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that group is horrible. Boy, I'll tell you. Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah. Now you're talking. That's what I like to see. Peter Frampton. Nomination will hand to Foreigner. My brother will like that. He's a Foreigner fan. Foreigner, Peter Frampton, he liked Peter Frampton. That's like soft rocks. Jane's Addiction, Dave Matthews. That's a lot of kind of murky, soft rock nonsense. And Kool and the Gang. Now you're talking. Nothing like Kool and the Gang. Boy, talk about a dichotomy of nominees. Kool and the Gang and Ozzy Osbourne. I know they never hung out together. I can tell you that for a fact. I can tell you that for a fact. Interesting. So, yeah, I'm surprised Cher. Cher is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of... How could that be? I mean, she's like almost 80 years old. How could she have not been? And Mariah Carey is, okay. Doesn't make sense to me. I would think Cher would have been. But anyway, she probably will this year. It says here, Sade is on the ballot for the first time. Yeah, Cher is on the ballot for the first time. Foreigner, Frampton, Kool and the Gang, Kravitz. These are all first-time nominees. Interesting. I'm trying to see. It doesn't say... Oh, so you'll know this fall. That's when you'll know. And it's always held in Cleveland, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is, in Cleveland. Where else would it be but the lovely, dirty city of Cleveland? Known for its wafting, beautiful, murky weather and rising unemployment. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now I just lost the whole Cleveland audience. All three of them. If they even get this download there. What am I? I'm kidding, Cleveland. Don't get upset. I don't want to be yelled at by... I'm one of the biggest fans of the movie Major League. I loved you guys in Major League when you won. I thought it was... I rooted for you guys, which is big because you were playing the Yankees. So, also getting a little love is Long Island loves Stevie Nicks. Long Island's own Stevie Nicks is coming to the UBS Arena. When and where is this happening? I think my sister likes Stevie Nicks, or maybe she likes... does she like Stevie Nicks? Maybe. I like Stevie Nicks. Fleetwood Mac. Who didn't like Fleetwood Mac? But this is just Stevie Nicks. Let's see when and where. Wednesday? This Wednesday? At the UBS Arena. Wow. So that's day after tomorrow. Tickets are about 120 to 420 bucks. That's face value. You won't get it for that. You'll get it on a third market for like 3,500, where you'll be sitting somewhere on Hempstead Turnpike. Let's be honest. You're not getting into this place for $100. No siree, Bob. You want to hear Rihanna, and you better go, or Landslide. You better go put it on your iTunes. And it seems like a... so it has this thing. Why does Long Island love Stevie Nicks? And they have a list. They really broke it down. Why they love Stevie. I mean, I bet she's just talented. She's, a great performer. Leave it at that. Everything has to be so dissected and talked about. Too much talk. The music is great. Who doesn't love Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks? But okay. Let's see why this is their take, Newsday's take on why Long Island loves Stevie Nicks. She's a fashion icon, which is a little odd to say because she dresses always, to me, she always dresses just this pretty similar, like really nondescript clothes, kind of almost Garth a little bit, almost a little dark, She's almost a little bit goth, if you will. But says, bohemian. Okay, that's why, because she's got a bohemian look to her, a lot of flowy. To me, it's gothish, but a bohemian can go. I think bohemian and goth is a little stronger, but okay. She's a reluctant sex symbol. She's not trying to be a Cher or Tina Turner's, who we love. The Madonnas. She's not putting herself out there like that. Okay. She's very relatable. I'm not sure why they say that. I guess you can just give her a call, talk to her. Is that what they're saying? You could just shoot her a text. Hey, Stevie, where are you going to be tonight? You want to hang out tonight? It says here, fans feel deeply close to Nicks through the lyrics in her songs. I guess I love people. Because I just listened to a song, I couldn't tell you one lyric in any song I've ever listened to in my life. I just listened to it. I like it. I mean, I'm exaggerating, of course, but I love people that like, and they say this, again, I wasn't going to mention it, but you know who I'm going to refer to, what's-her-face, Super Bowl face, that her songs are so connected to that tween because it's all about ex-boyfriend. Who even listens to these songs? I don't even listen to this crap. But, okay, they say that her songs are very transparent, authenticity. Says Steve Yusko, 62 of Babylon. Okay, and that Steve can never be wrong. They can always be right, but they could never be wrong. Because two wrongs always make a right on the Steve Squared Show.
That was easy!
Says she's an open book because obviously she had told her story about her addictions to cocaine and Klonopin. That's a combination you don't often see. Sometimes you see cocaine and hash, cocaine and meth, cocaine and mushroom, but you don't see a lot of cocaine and Klonopin. Good for her. So I think she's also a drug icon because she's mixing cocaine and Klonopin. I don't know. Is that possible? I don't even. Let me see here. In the early 90s, she went to rehab, cleaned up, and has since greatly improved herself. Okay. As she's gotten older, I feel her voice and presence has improved. Robin Hazen, 58 of Calverton. Well, Robin, you probably want to watch some videos of her when she was in her prime. I'm not saying she's awful now. I'm not saying she's going to sell out. She's going to sell out. Because any of these performers, look what Billy Joel's doing at Madison Square Garden. The guy's like indiscriminately, you can't even see him anymore. He's like this roly-poly, overweight slob that's just playing the piano or whatever. But they just want to see and hear, and it's a kind of It's that kind of coming of age of when you were a youth and reliving for one moment in time when your life was a little better, when you had hope, right? Now you're in a place where it's all gone. There is nothing left other than going to these aging rock stars concerts to relive some kind of moment that you had when you had hope. And now that hope is gone. Now how do you feel? I give it to you right between the eyes. I don't lie here on the Steve Squared Show. I tell it like it is. Don't you hate when they say that? I tell it like it is. Like that's some kind of badge of honor. That means you're a schmuck. That means you have no tact about you. That's who I am. I'm a schmuck with no tact. With a balloon that doesn't stay straight. I'm going to hear it after the show. I watched your whole show. You couldn't straighten the balloon? Mom, I said a beautiful happy birthday moment to you. We went. I had a pivot when the Chris's was closed. Unforeseen. With a crazy dog. I took you to the shiny Massapequa Diner for a lovely breakfast. I'm not going to hear any. Oh, here we go. The balloon's straightening up. See, the balloon heard me. It heard my blowhard wind and straightened up. Straighten up and fly right. They love. She's a timeless performer. And I don't like this. It says, despite being 75, Nix doesn't come off like a senior citizen. Like, despite 75, like, that's a bad... Like, don't say that. That's horrible to say. I don't like despite. Say even though. Is that better? It says, oh my god, it says, even though Fleetwood Mac... they use it in the next sentence. I am a writer at heart, my friends. Even though Fleetwood Mac disbanded... Christine McVie passed away last year. Nix has soldiered on. She's a solo artist. They love the song Landslide, of course. Who doesn't love Landslide? And she has a unique voice. It's funny when you talk about Christine McVie, and she had some great solo or lead vocals in some of their big songs, Fleetwood Mac, but for some reason, Stevie Nicks just stood out and obviously was able to parlay herself into Stevie Nicks, where Christine McVie was never able to. And she was so talented, too. I mean, the whole band was so awesome. Very talented people. Anyway, Wednesday night, let me not trudge on more about Stevie Nicks. She looks pretty good, though, right? What do you think? She doesn't look set. She looks... That's another thing we got to stop saying. She doesn't look 75. She doesn't look that. Who knows what looks like? Like, no, just say you look good. Just tell people they look good. I hate when people say compliments with jaded compliments or putting qualifiers on them. You look good for 75. What does that mean? That's not a compliment. That means you could look a lot worse. You really should look a lot worse. Because at the age that you are, people don't look good. That's not a compliment. It's not. Just say, you look good. It's okay. Nothing more, nothing less. You look great. Hey, you look great. Do you lose weight? Or, you're working out, exercising. You look fantastic. That's enough. Nobody wants to hear more. More is never good. Unless it's money. Unless... That's the sound that we love. If it snows next week, I'm going to flip out on this show. If it snows 1 inch tomorrow, we're on a streak here where we haven't had snow for 2 years now. I do not want to wake up and see white stuff, unless it's cocaine and Klonopin. Rhiannon rings like a bell through the night. Wouldn't you like to know? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Stevie Nicks is going to cut the concert short tonight. 5 minutes. She's not feeling well. We found her in the back doing Klonopin again. Anyway, did I hit all the things I wanted to talk about? I don't think so. Let me see. I'm going to be a little sad. Tomorrow's election day. And I'm sure they're all freaking out because I have been inundated for the past several months by these two candidates, Tom Suozzi and the other Philippe Mazzi or whatever her name is. Inundated with mail from these two. Just bombarded. Texts from both of them. I'm getting phone calls in the middle of the night, all hours, people calling me. We count on your vote. You're going to be voting? You're voting? What? I have never, not by my family, have gotten this kind of attention. I wish my family called me as much and texted me as much and wanted to be around me as much than Tom Suozzi and Philippe Mazzi, whatever her name is. So tomorrow's the final day. This is it. Big election day, and of course I'm sure they're thrilled it's going to be messy weather. It always keeps people at home from voting. So tomorrow is the vote. So what I'm a little sad about is after tomorrow, whoever wins, I'm not going to get that same attention from those candidates. I feel like the loser or winner, they're not going to text me anymore and go, Steve, how are you doing? I know the election's over. I don't need anything from you. I don't need your vote. I want to know how Funny Man Stevie K is doing today. Are you feeling down? Are you depressed? Let's talk. I will not hear from these people ever again until election time or whenever their candidacy comes up for re-election. I'm being used. You feel like you're being used in life? Put your foot down. Don't be used. I'm going to give you my vote. What will you give me in return? I got crumbling roads. I got high-priced tickets for 80-year-old musician rock stars. That's not good. I got luncheonettes not opening till the afternoon when I want to go there for breakfast. What can you do for me? What if I called you all hours of the night or had my cronies call you and said, hey, Tom, sorry to bother you at dinner, but Steve's stuck in a pothole the size of a crater on the moon. Can you help him? Do you have a jack? Can you run over to Steve over on Broadway and help him get his car out of that asteroid tunnel of craters? I don't think so. Hey, Philippe Mazzi. Steve's over at CVS and the self-checkout's not working. He wants to buy Robitussin and they say he's not of age. Help him out. No answer. So my point is if you are going to vote, make sure you get something in return. I mean, please, for God's sake, if I taught you nothing, don't give away things for nothing. Your time is valuable. You are valuable. I always appreciate the time that my audience gives me on the Steve Squared Show. All four of you. I'm telling you, I appreciate the four of you like you can't believe. It's true. It's true. But anyway, and let me tell you, I set up a call. I was going to surprise you. I had my friend was going to call in. No call. I mean, is my phone working? Let me see. Maybe my phone's not working. No phone call. Nada. No bueno. Anyway, definitely go out. Let me recap. Get Being Henry, the Fonz book. It says The Fonz and Beyond. Really good read. I know I've told you this before, but I really can put my stamp on it now that I'm into the book. It's very good. It must fast forward a lot because after Happy Days, I don't think he did anything until he was about 67. So, this was a Dear Amy. I don't know if I like it a lot. I'm not going to read it. I don't love it. I don't want to end on something that's not great. I like to... Oh, here's something helpful. And I saw this on Channel 12 News. And they were talking about an expose story about a mother's son who was a child is downloading apps, gaming apps. He doesn't know. He's 8 years old, 9 years old. And, of course, these free download apps as you are building your characters and doing everything, come with fees. So this little boy accumulated thousands and thousands of dollars in fees, much to the behest of his parents, who were in total shock and despair when they got the bill from Apple. And so they said, we'll call the gaming companies and Apple and get our money back. No, sirree, Bobby. I believe this is what Apple said. So, so what they needed to do was they used to have, CBS used to have that shame on you, where you'd go to them and they would call out bad landlords or things like that. They'd chase them with the camera and they'd be like, get away from me, get away from me. So Channel 12 News has turned to Tara, which is a great avenue to pursue if you feel you've been wronged. If you feel you've been wronged, and I am wronged every day of the year. I haven't had a day. 365 days. This year is 366 days. Don't forget, they've shoved in an extra day without my approval. February 29th. Don't forget. Turn to Tara. I'll give you the email. It's TD Rosenblum, ROSEN Bloom, BLUM, at news12.com. So that's TD, like touchdown, haha. ROSEN BLUM, TD Rosenblum, at news12.com. And if you have a gripe or you need some kind of remuneration because you've been wronged in the private or public sector, there might be a way to recover your ill-gotten gains or your ill-gotten booty gains from those unsavory people out there. It's always those dirty apps. So the kid was hysterical. The story ends great. The parents put the kid up for adoption. It was a heartwarming story. They disowned him, and they got their money back. Apple made a deal. You give us your child, we'll give you the money back. I'll tell you. I thought it was a little over the top as well, but Apple don't play. Let me tell you, Apple don't play. So be careful what you're downloading. That's the message there. Okay, I always like to leave you with a message. It's coming on 7:30. It's after 7:30. I ran late last week. I'm running late again, but I had so much to share with you. Thank you for letting me vent a little and to share with you some of what happened this past week. We'll be back in the studio next week. Please hope for just rain or nothing tomorrow. Let's hope that the weathermen continue with their hot streak of being wrong. It's really the only thing you can count on. Otherwise, but we'll be in the studio next week. Maybe I'll see you down at the vote. I might go down there and see what this voting thing's all about. It's a great way also to get served for jury duty. So if you do, that's what happens. You do your duty. You go vote. You feel like you did something good, and 2 weeks later you get a letter from the local court juror board that you have to go serve jury duty. That's all that comes out of this. Anyway, but don't listen to me. Do the right thing. I'm a very disgruntled person. Go enjoy the week. Have a safe week. Have a fun week. I will see you guys in the studio, Steve Square Show, next week. Again, happy birthday. And I didn't get to say happy birthday to my nephew last week because I didn't get a chance to. I wanted to. Happy birthday to my nephew Kevin, who I have now forewarned is going with his now wife to Iceland. Be careful. So he will be doing that. So happy birthday to him, and happy birthday to my mom. So hopefully she's had a great birthday today and continues. We always make this deal in our family where we say it's not a day, it's a week. So you have to be kind to us for a week. It is, wow, you talk about a real albatross around your neck. When one of us has to be kind to the other, there's 5 of us in the family, well, in the immediate family, and, so the other 4 have to be kind. We get a week. You get a birthday week, we always say. It's the least we can do. but then as soon as we get angry or we yell, we go, oh, it's not been a week yet, and then we get so it's so hard to be nice, but we try. Anyway, have a wonderful week. I will see you in the studio next week, 6:30, Monday night, on the Steve Squared Show. Check out the Instagram, Stephen R. Kaminsky, for all following updates, appearances, news, anything going on, everything dumbbells related. Hey, I got we'll try to get some dumbbells news for you. Hopefully I'll get some dumbbells news going on for you. Once again, for myself, Funny Man Stevie K, for Kermit, for all of my family's birthdays, and for all of you out there, have a wonderful night. And don't forget to tune into the Knicks and the Jon Stewart Show.